As I look upon my life, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dreams. As I look upon my life, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dream.
Good morning, everybody. Greetings to you. Wow. Last week it was such a very vibey a week. So from the Wednesday we had Women's Day and we had fun in the presence of the Lord. So even Thursday evening we had a lot of fun, and then Friday as well. Today we are back in the studio, and we are talking career and ministry this morning to the Inside Show. And I'm actually going to ask you, while the ladies are going to introduce themselves, and they don't need introduction. But anyway, they're going to say hi to you. But in the meantime, if you can just please take out your mirror and just let us have fun. And you can ask your questions as normal, and then we can just see how we can actually answer those questions. But don't waste any time. We are here to just enjoy ourselves on this podcast here this morning. And if you did not subscribe as yet, please do it. Do it. Hit that button. That subscribe button and subscribe so you will know what is happening on the Inside Show. Without wasting any time, if you have your mirror out, my question for the mirror this morning, before we're going to go into it, my question is, I suppose, we all have a life. How do you keep it balanced? Right, on a daily basis? How do you keep your life balanced, right? But before we go into that, I would love the ladies just to greet you and to say hi there. So we're going to start with our co-host, my co-host, Leanne.
Hey guys, ladies, it has been good. The month of August has been cooking hot. If you managed to catch the conference, I know that you would have enjoyed every minute and every second of it. It was a full spectrum of events. It was a fashion show. There were some deep moments, there were some tender moments, and there were some exciting moments. So we are chuffed and we were very happy with the outcome, I must say. I am feeling inspired and rejuvenated, and that's the point of the month, is to continue to build and exhort one another in all things, in all capacities. And today is just the same. And today we're talking about ministry and our careers. And how do we make sense of all of that? So I'm excited to have that chat, and I'm also excited, as always, to see a Lady S in the house, looking as regal and calm as ever. It was so beautiful to hear your story. I actually was telling somebody about your testimony, and man, I got choked up just telling it again, and I found it very incredible. So thank you for sharing that. That takes a lot of courage and a lot of depth, and I appreciate that about you.
Awesome. Hi, ladies. I am excited once again to be on the Inside Show. As Pastor Johnny said, there's a little frog in my voice, but I call it Holy Ghost Babalas. I guess it's from Women's Convention.
Definitely.
So, but I'm here today, excited for the topic. It's one of my favorite topics, and I hope you're out there and going to join us on this topic. I'm always privileged to be with Joan and Leanne in the studio. I always learn a lot, get a lot of insight from my own life, and I am just amazed every time when I'm on the Inside Show how many women will say to me what they have learned, So ladies out there today, learn, relearn, and unlearn. That is my greeting to you today. When you listen to us, know there is some things that you can take, there's some things that you can unlearn, there's some things that you can relearn. So enjoy the show with us today.
Yes, man. So you got the hi from everybody in the studio. So yes, we are talking career and ministry. So we want you to take out your mirror and let us go into the topic for this morning. The lady or the gent looking back at you have a life, right? So I don't know whether it's balanced, but how do you balance it? How do you balance your life? on a daily basis, right? So I would like to know from the ladies how I balance my life as actually, because I'm a granny, I don't have small kids anymore, so I don't do the run around for kids, right? And now and then I am asked to just fetch them. But I strategize my day, and I am now very, very strict when it comes to that, to be quite honest with you. And that is how I balance my life. So I now write down, what do I want to do today? Per se. So that is where I am at in my personal life, because life just carries on on and on. And you miss out on so important stuff, very important stuff in your life. So that is how I balance my life.
I like that. Your balance sounds like a bit of boundary balance.
Yeah, definitely.
So how do I balance my life? I think I am aware of different seasons, being that you will have time of busyness and then you will have time of calm.
That's right.
And you have to evaluate that with, a fair amount of wisdom. Otherwise, you'll think, my life is perpetually busy, but it's not only, it's just a busy portion or a busy season. So how I keep balance, I think, is I do love a schedule. I do love diarizing and noting things. It helps once things are out of my head and onto into a calendar or some kind of workflow. It gives me a lot less anxiety. And then I also tend to listen to what my body is saying. That helps me with balance. So if I'm feeling something's getting out of balance, your body kind of tells you because either you're starting to feel stressed, you're getting headaches, you're feeling fatigued all the time, and then it helps me make the adjustments that I need to make.
That's right.
And get good rest in the downtime so that you can have energy for the very strenuous periods. So that's, I think, for me, the most practical way of keeping balanced in my life. Because, balance isn't the same for everyone.
Yes,
because
that's
it's very
true.
relative.
Yes.
That's true.
Some people talk about sleep, and I realize I'm like, I don't need that much sleep.
Yes, yes.
I don't need to sleep 3 times a day. And some people do. They actually find it helpful.
Yeah.
They can sleep in the middle of the day, and they can find that refreshes them.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, maybe that's balance
I
for.
struggle with that.
Yes,
So
maybe that's balance
I can't
for you.
sleep- I can't sleep during the
But
day.
it's going to be tough for me to get that kind. So
Yeah.
you find balance in your own way,
That's
and you
right.
make sense of it. And so it's relative for me, balance.
Yeah, true.
Wow, ladies, you have covered so many things. But when I look in my mirror today, how do I find balance? Oh, such a busy lady. I always try to look at the things that is in my control and note down everything that I have to do for today.
Yeah.
And then I also make time to rest a little bit. And I also, have times where I said no for certain things. Because if I don't say no, then I will try to overcommit myself and I won't do the task that I've already set my mind to. So one of the most important things for me is really to focus to things that is in my control for that day. Because as soon as the things is out of my control, it starts giving me stress, anxiety, panic attacks, and sleeplessness. So my balance really comes by doing the things out of my control, managing my time, managing my energy against my time. Because sometimes you can have your time right, but then your energy is not enough. So I like to manage my energy. Do I feel like going to the gym today? Do I feel like working out at home today? But I always, work in between that. So it's important because I know, like Joan said, she don't have children. I have a daughter that's in varsity, so I always have to balance myself between her busy schedule and my schedule. But we just somehow find really ourselves things working out, because it's things that we plan. It's not things that
you
is
see
so much.
that, and that is important, the planning.
At the spur of the moment. So
the
balance
planning.
is important because you plan things and it keeps you in line with the things that you have planned.
Right.
Yeah. But they say failing to plan is planning to fail.
Yes, they say
Absolutely
proper
so.
planning prevent poor performance.
Yes.
And I call it my
Yes,
5 P's.
yes.
That was
Yeah.
nice. You didn't even get tongue twisted. Proper plan.
Proper planning.
Prevents poor performance.
Yes.
Nice one.
That's a nice one. So I don't know about you. If you are online, there, Pastor Eileen, Thank you so much for tuning in. And Alison Milton, thank you so much, guys. I wonder, how do you balance your busy schedules, on
Yeah.
a daily basis? Because sometimes you are just asked, to come somewhere quickly, and then you have to
Yeah.
leave everything and just go.
And what's the flip side of that? What does unbalance look like to you?
Well, I think with unbalance is where the cloud goes. There you go. The cloud in the sky that is,
Okay. So you toss to and fro.
Yeah, it's blown from one side to the other side by the wind, and I think many times when you don't plan and you're unbalanced,
Yeah.
you're actually gonna go.
You're very susceptible to that.
Yeah, you're gonna go wherever. If Sonia now phones me, sis, come quickly with me, blah blah blah. Leanne phones, sis, don't you want? So you like the in
Yes,
between,
absolutely.
Yeah.
and you had things to do for that specific day.
Yeah.
So that to me is an unbalanced lifestyle.
Yes, absolutely. I also think it's many times what help us also, like the example that you've made, is also priorities.
It's when you don't have, yeah.
You sometimes it's because you prioritize maybe this person or this event maybe, and then you make a decision based on that and say, you know what, I know maybe it was not fully in my planning, but this is important to me. I value
Absolutely,
this
yeah,
person.
yeah.
I value this
that's
this
true,
situation.
yeah.
So I will rather than attend to it. So
Right.
that is also that you need to look into in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, thank
know?
you. You didn't prioritize today
Yeah,
to be on this
yeah,
show,
yeah.
but you value.
I
you
value,
the- Thank
to
you
be,
so
yeah,
much.
I
Thank
value,
you.
I value
I
the
get
fact
it
that you
there.
asked me, and the fact that I know the value that I can give towards on the podcast. So that is
Absolutely.
important. I can't just say, oh no. And also, if you look at the time, you say to yourself, okay, it's an hour. Why not invest it into good soil?
Yeah.
So that is important to make that kind of
Yeah,
decisions.
and podcasts are definitely seed sowers.
Absolutely.
Just in the spirit of planning and being strong, I like this quote. It says, "Well-behaved women seldom make history." I know it's kind of off topic,
Wow.
but I like that because it speaks about like a courage that you need to have in
That's right.
conducting your life, and
That's right.
a courage that you need to have in being spontaneous.
Yes.
And be prepared to live a bit out of balance for a little period to accomplish something perhaps
Right.
meaningful or great to you.
I always said you must be prepared even to be misunderstood.
Yeah.
Because that is what we don't like. We always want to be understood.
Yeah.
I didn't say
Yeah,
that.
people
I said, but it's
misunderstand you.
okay if people misunderstood you. It's okay if you look a little bit disrupted and not in line with everybody. Everybody go to the left, you go to the right.
Yeah.
So I think that also a beautiful way of.
Yep.
what
Well-behaved
was you
women
saying now?
seldom make
Well-behaved
history.
women.
Yeah. So do you maintain a schedule for the day?
Yes, I do. I promise you, I normally keep my schedule on my my
your
phone.
phone?
I keep it on my laptop. I keep it manually in my notebook. It's like yesterday, I took the bus to work because there was a problem with our car. So my husband dropped us at the bus station, and I took the bus. And while I was in the bus, there was things that I thought, okay, I've missed, and I noted down in my book while we were driving in the bus. And you won't believe me, Joni, when I was done yesterday at the office, I could scratch all those things out because I've already achieved all those things that I was supposed to do for that specific day. Even if it
Wow.
was deadlines that I had to meet, I scratched it out because I already made that deadline then.
Yeah.
Wow, that is awesome.
So-
No, that
because
is-
most of the times you make a mental note. You can actually also just write it down, but
Yeah.
you don't maintain the
You
schedule.
maintain the schedule.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know about you. Do you maintain a schedule?
Yes, I love schedules because then I don't have to. I think keeping things in your head all the time, I think that gives me anxiety. It
That's
really
right.
does. So a schedule for me, I also noticed that there are different compartments to my life. So the kids, of which I have 3, they've got a busy schedule. They've got different extramurals every day, which means that there's prep the previous day. So if I don't log it, then I'll miss it.
That's right.
And then they'll miss their extramurals. And if I don't log their assignments and their tests, so I created a separate calendar for them, and I just populate date them all the time. And so that comes up in a different color. And then church, ministry also has its own different calendar because those are priority dates.
That's right.
And then my day-to-day, my business interests, my meetings, my appointments. And then I also found that if you look at your day like that, it's easy to see where you have gaps and where you have
That's right.
where you are overextended or where you have overextended yourself. And then you can also see that if you plot everything, you can see like this is actually wasting time, or I can actually scrap this from the calendar because, you know, and find it. So if you can look at it, you get a bird's eye view, and that helps with, it just gives me a mental sense of calm, knowing what the week looks like. If I wake up and like some people, especially ministers, they like to take the Monday off, but I can't take a Monday off. I need a Monday because Monday gives me momentum for the week. I can take a Thursday, which is actually my preference, my preferral day. Like this is my kingdom time actually today. And then Friday, I like to do mostly church work. But the point is that if you plan it, you can also see when you are at your best.
Yes.
I'm sure you know your own body clock in
Yeah.
keeping balance. You're like,
Yeah.
you know, at 11 o'clock,
Yeah.
that's a slump for
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
3
yeah.
o'clock, that's a slump for me. This is my peak performance hour, so let me load it with the difficult things of the day. So it helps you assess yourself.
Absolutely.
So that you can achieve balance and more than balance optimization, because I think we don't only aspire to be balanced people, we aspire to be, effective people, effective
Exactly.
going about our and you can also slot your goals in, and you can see how you can. And it does give you sadness when you can't scratch off, hey, Lady S, if you can't make that X or you can't draw that line, it
that's
doesn't.
right.
I think you should give you a bit of anxiety and a bit of stress. Yeah. So it's, I think, tools.
So if you actually you have the schedule, right? You jotted it down. You know what you want to do for the day, but something urgent comes up.
Yes.
Something like someone got ill. You know what I'm saying? Or someone in hospital and you get the call. So how do you manage to then come back to your prioritizing list?
I don't know, but what I normally do is I had that moments, especially when my husband had to go to hospital, and I always make a joke and say to people, I'm a walking laptop, and it's a joke, but it's not a joke, because I'm always with my laptop. My phone got everything what I need. The same things I have on my laptop is on my phone, and that is the thing. People don't use this tool to the full capacity. They just use it for chat and I use my phone really for the full capacity for everything,
Yeah.
So if I am there in the hospital passage and I had appointments that I was supposed to attend to so much, I will inform the people, I can't maybe, attend to you at this time. Normally with coaching, I had a coaching session, then I will maybe reschedule the time. But I will make sure that I don't reschedule it, too far or the next day. I was like, you know what, in the next 2 hours, because I'm caught up here. So while I'm caught up there, Johnny, then I will tend to things that what you can say, available to me, that I can attend to during my time being distracted, So many times we can easily make excuses and say, oh God, I was at the hospital the whole day. But you were sitting there waiting. You had your laptop. You could have
phone.
You could have in the meantime communicate with things that the deadline, or maybe deadlines, or things that you could message a person or so on. So things that you had to be physically there. Then it's when you can ask the person to maybe postpone or maybe But I feel like to make excuses not to really achieve our targets for a specific day or week, it's not helping us. Like Leanne said, sometimes it gives me paparazzi, And I'm one person, I can even work late at night to squeeze it in. I can work late at night. If it was my assignment that I know I was supposed to work on between 2 to 3, and between 2 to 3 something came up, tonight I will put in 7 to 8.
Okay.
But I don't know.
But you see, you actually very
I don't know.
you're a responsible person. You committed
I think
to
it's
your
I think
tasks,
it's
and I think
discipline.
that is
It's
discipline. Yeah,
it's called discipline.
It's
Yeah.
totally discipline.
Yeah.
But if you're not disciplined in your, like for instance with me, I don't have much to do anymore. To be quite honest, like for instance now, you have given the baton over when it comes to ministry in the sense of your responsibility. My responsibility was the women's ministry, and then there are other little things. So you don't have that anymore. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it seems like you have such a lot of time at hand, So what can you do with that time? Hence, I said earlier that I now am so. That's almost like I'm strict to myself in a sense where I have to take responsibility. How do I manage my
Why do you
time?
use your time?
Yeah, you need a new endeavor.
During
Yes,
the day. So
absolutely.
I actually need something that I can do,
Yeah.
in the time that I used before
Yeah, you do.
doing ministry.
That's
You
right.
get what I'm
That's-
saying?
I hear you.
So because when you get a certain age, your children are big, they're no longer in the house. It's only an empty nest. It's only you and your hubby. So somehow your whole energy, your whole time, everything went to
Raising the family
the children.
and sacrifice and
So
everything.
so now it is almost like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
You with me?
Yes.
And that is nogals challenging. It's challenging in the sense that how do you prioritize your time? You know what I'm saying?
How do you make it meaningful again for you?
Yes.
Yeah, no, that is a big deal. But I'm also just thinking, and maybe it's something that we can look into and give different perspectives. The work life, and what I mean is that the influx has definitely increased. I would say disproportionately to our, and that's to our time, to our actual time. It means that the work that the stimulus that we're getting from emails, from calls, from WhatsApp, from social media enjoyment, social media obligations, those things are all coming at us. And and then you do have everything very available to you. But that can also leave you with a very cluttered mental space.
Very true.
And it can be overwhelming
Absolutely
at
so.
times. So I'm just thinking about the fact that you can be mobile because you do have to achieve certain things and you acknowledge your working hours. But there also comes a time when I think you need to decide how you are going to interact with work. I know, like, for some...
And that is balance, right?
Yes,
balance.
that's the balance
How
I'm
am I
talking
going to balance
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get off my phone and concentrate on family?
Yes,
per
yes.
se.
And even ministry, it tends to overwhelm you in a way that's not healthy.
Yeah, very true.
I mean, in dealing with ministry, you do also have to have a quiet and a peaceable spirit. And with being very busy as a person, you're not going to get that right. You're not going to be in a place of kind of a good spiritual space.
That's true.
Because we're doing so
That's
much.
true.
Because you're messaging every congregant. You're just available for every single thing. So the availability thing, I think for me sends me out of balance. And I think how do you feel about that? What is the deliberate choice that you've made when it comes to your busyness and your availability? Because ministry will always claw at that, you being available for people.
Yeah, and I think people expect you to be available. But I think I drew a line when it comes to that. To be quite honest, I feel there are other people that is doing and who's capable of praying to come to the hospital to pray for you. I think there are other people in the ministry as leaders, right, who can do certain things, and that is why you have leaders in different areas. So I think I'm not I'm not a social media person, to be quite honest. Sonia always tell me, you can do this and this and this, but to be quite honest with you, I am not that type of person. I rather prefer talking. I like the one-on-one.
Yeah.
That's me now. But on social media, I am not that type of person. But I would say how to balance in ministry is a total different ball game for different ministries, to be honest.
Absolutely.
When you have a certain ministry and you are spearheading the entire show, or can I say the entire ministry? So you have to have that eye view of what is happening in all departments.
Yeah.
Then I think it can take a lot of time. It
That's
can
right.
take your energy. It can take a lot of you. So, and that also can make you actually to become out of balance with yourself.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I've learned something that if you are not balanced with the person that is with you every day, your life and your priorities will be totally all over.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And you will become impulsive.
Yeah.
That is again another thing.
Yeah.
You know, the impulsiveness of it.
I've never drawn that correlation, but it's such a revelation moment that you're just saying that now.
Yes.
Because it makes sense, because you're like a pinball. You just go from there to there to there to there, which means you'll make decisions
Yeah.
just
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
You won't think about the plan or the long term.
Yes.
You won't be thoughtful when it comes to making decisions, because everything happens like this. This is your tempo.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
so-
think what,
So-
what really helping me is I'm not full-time in ministry. Over these years, I was never full-time in ministry. But over these years, I was always available when people, wants to see me or talk. And like we will come back to the first thing that we said, planning is so important that you then, like I can make a typical example with coaching now. I particularly put out there, I can do one-on-one coachings on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I have my specific times between 6 and 8, So,
Now we took on a Monday evening.
yeah, we took on a Monday evening group coaching. So I wouldn't have said it if I know I was busy during that time.
Yeah.
If some of the ladies of some of the congregation members would make appointment with me, they will immediately know, I'm available this time or this time. What helps me also now is when I'm working 1 day a week from home. So I try to squeeze in many times, some of my things and to see people and whatever. But I also like my family time. I
Yeah.
really like it. I will have times where I say the family, we're just going to go pinballing and we can do bowling and we just go somewhere, I also like my support time with my friends. So you have to, everything is important, I also like my alone time. I can be many days, people will think, oh, Lady is busy. But there's many times that my family will find me, I'm in my bedroom. And then I will just be busy with worship. I will just work out on notes. I will just be, so people will see you out there and they will label you as busy. But they don't understand your effectiveness of your busyness.
Yeah,
the
you're
productiveness
recharged.
of your busyness.
Yeah, you're
So
recharged.
you just need to know who you are at your busyness.
And also your family needs to understand that.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it can become like, especially I find like with career women, like in your case, I find that a lot of people is very unbalanced.
Yes.
When it comes to family time, right? You can be there in the house, but you cannot, but in the same time not be with the
Yes,
family.
yes.
You get what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes.
So you're actually absent from the family,
Family.
because you're always busy with your
think
with your career.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that brings a lot of things in the marriage, in the children's lives, because yes, I'm at home, but I don't spend time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there's quality time that you can spend with
family,
people,
yeah.
with family, right? And I find also that is also where friends can become overwhelming when they just ask for a coffee.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yes.
But you are so focused on only the one stream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not the other. And sometimes it is all about, say for instance, you must do certain things and, I have to do A, B, and C, and I have this thing on and this thing on and this thing on. And you don't even make time for friends. You don't make time
For
for
family.
family.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because I find that that is imbalancing your life,
Yes, you need
your
to have
lifestyle.
social.
You have to socialize.
Yes,
and in
absolutely.
today's life, with everything negative going
Mm.
on, socializing is the thing that's going to keep you from depression.
Absolutely. Mm.
That is just what it is. And I find
Yeah,
many
the human
times
contact.
some people take it as, if I have all these things that I have to do,
Mm. I don't
no,
have
I
time
don't
for
have
that.
time for you now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's about me,
Yeah.
and it's never about someone else. So I
Yeah.
don't know what you'll say about that in that regard.
Yeah.
How
No,
do you balance that?
I agree with you totally. And I don't know. If I have to rate myself in that, I would say I find myself as a 70%. You know, doing the balance around my family, around my friends, around my
definitely.
studies,
You always-
around my
yeah.
work, around
That's why,
ministry.
that's why I don't know how you do it. I sometimes don't get how
because
you can
I
study, how you can do your assignments, how you can.
In the
do
conference, I was
coaching.
busy with a take-home exam. But the thing is, my planning was so good because I know it's going to be the conference. So I plan already to do some of my questions prior. You know, I was laughing for one of my student friends. They were asking me the set today. So how did you answer this? I'm like, I've submit, guys.
Yeah, it's out of
I don't
my
know. It's
head.
out of my head, you know. So for me, it's like planning, Joni, is so vital. It's imperative to
You
plan.
see, you can plan, but stick to the
Stick to
planning.
the plan. Action, discipline, commitment.
Yeah,
It's very
yeah,
important.
Yeah, I learn a lot there from
Yeah,
you.
commitment.
Because the commitment, and my husband. Because if
Yeah.
if he's like this, it's like,
Yes.
you know, nobody's gonna.
Yeah.
Even if you talk to him and he's busy with something, he
Yeah,
does
talk is
not
like
hear
that.
you.
Yeah,
It doesn't
But
hear you.
I think that will bring me to my point. I think it's very relative in that balance doesn't look the same for everybody
Yeah.
because you have different seasons in your life.
That's right.
If you are university season in your early 20s,
Yeah.
man, you've got all the time in the world. You've got all the energy. You can do late nights, early
That's
mornings. You don't tire as easy. Your obligations and
Yeah.
your responsibilities are different. So a season to surrender yourself to studies is maybe adequate or optimal at that point of time. And then you find people that are doing PhDs with 3 children and still working.
Yes.
And, so balance for them becomes a bit of a different game to
Dynamic.
play. And they have to do it with a fair amount of discipline and often restriction. So it depends on, I think, what you're trying to achieve. And because you can enter into a very taxing period, but it's only for a certain purpose.
That's right.
And then it's okay. It should be
That's
okay.
right.
Like,
That's
for
right.
example, conference season, you know that it's busy. You know that there's more meetings than there usually are. You know that you spend more than you usually do. And so if you had to live like that, it would put you out of balance.
That's right.
But because it's a short period of time and
That's
for
right.
a purpose, then going out of balance is fine. We're not made out of glass.
Right.
And I think our new age millennials tend to, give me that impression that they're going to break. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
a little bit of adversity
Yes.
and toughness is actually good for anybody. Not,
Exactly.
and I don't want to pick on them, but you do see that they just need a bit more care.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's because it needs to be worked.
Yeah.
You know
it needs
what?
to be
I can't
ruffled.
deal with, Pastor Lee, and like you say there now, with this new age, especially women, yeah, they have nannies. They have people cleaning their houses. But then you ask, okay, what are you doing for that 8 hours a day? What are you
Oh,
doing?
you asked the question.
Yeah, I asked the question. And it's
What
like,
do you do?
And it's like, people, they don't know what they're doing with their time.
Okay.
They're not intentional with their time. They're not cleaning the house. They're not fetching the children from the creche. Every other person doing it. What Joe now said. Suddenly, there's nothing that you're filling your life with.
Yeah.
And early in my life, I became aware of that. When I was having my children, I always said to somebody, I make sure I have my children early so that I can grow with them. So my children always went to school where I was working. When I work in Florida, my
yeah.
children went to Florida private school.
Okay.
I have to pick them up at lunchtime, things
Yeah.
like that. So my thing is, what did people fill the gaps? if that gap is empty, what do you fill it with?
Yeah.
And that's where it comes in, where people easily become depressed.
That's true, yeah.
They go and shop, with
That's
money
true.
and buying gifts for people they don't even like, because they're not
fact.
filling their lives with some
That's
valuable
true.
things.
But I think you got it there. You hit the nail on the head when you said intentional. You're not intentional with your time.
Exactly.
And, if you're not intentional, then you can't produce. What are you producing? So you end up kind of waffling your day away. And I think that is true in that it causes
That's right.
you to feel like you're not
Yeah.
worth anything because you just carried on with the day,
Yeah.
but it wasn't fulfilling in any way. That's why, getting your blood pressure a bit up, no, heart rate, not blood pressure, forgive me, getting your heart rate a bit up, pulling out a bit of a sweat, it helps you remind yourself
it
that
gives
you're
you
alive and
purpose.
you can do
It
things.
gives you
That's
purpose,
right.
Yeah.
Purpose for living, and there's also what helps you also with the energy and all that in ministry and in career is have a balanced life in your exercising,
That's right.
in doing some gym time. You know what I'm saying? And it might not be on a daily basis, but it can be 3 times a week.
Absolutely.
Just do something with your body per se. Go and take a walk. Get some me time in. Try to memorize scripture when it comes to the ministry.
Yeah.
Try to work out a sermon even if you're not preaching.
Exactly.
Those are
some good
things that you
investment
can
time.
you invest in yourself.
Yeah,
You invest in your
yes.
spiritual life.
Yes.
By just studying the word. Make that priority that because I have this time available, I can actually I like because my daughter and my grandchildren's and is living with us at the moment, and I don't know what we're gonna do when they
Go. 'Cause
Move out.
go and leave, but at the moment they keep me going at
Yeah.
night, to be quite honest
That's right.
with you, because I will take a walk. We will go and do certain things. We will do Pilates on the wall. That's why you must see how my wall
Wall Pilates.
looks like. Yeah, so that's the type of things that they help me, do that exercise.
That's
They
right.
give me that power, that
That's right.
energy
and
to actually
you raise an
go.
important thing there because you are actually in company of younger, energetic
That's right.
people that are
That's right.
testing you.
That's
They-
why I chose Sonia.
keeping
That's why I stick close to her.
No, but you should. They say that the people who
Yeah.
the 5 most prominent people in your life will be the ones that influence you
That's
the most.
right.
So you do have to choose your crowd, with a fair amount of circumspection.
That's
You
right.
have to consider, the influence. How am
That's
I
right.
around this person? Is
Yes.
it contributing or is it not?
Yeah.
And you do get those. You do get those situations.
Why do you
where-
think I asked you to be the co-host of the show?
For that reason.
That reason,
Well, I
girl.
find myself in good company. No, but that definitely is a good strategy in order to give momentum
That's
to your
right.
life, and you find that you bounce off and you leverage. What I
Yeah.
like about leverage is that you have things that I don't, and I have things that you don't, and we almost trade
That's
Yes,
with
that's
relationship.
right. That's
and
right.
it's like
And that's
the
how
process
it's
of
supposed to
sharpening.
be.
That's
It
right.
is.
It is supposed to be
Yes.
like that, and that even in ministry, you can balance one another
That's right.
Yes.
in ministry, because there's
right.
certain strengths that I have
Yes,
that you
yes,
don't have,
yes.
and that is how I feel sisterhood should be. That's
Yeah,
how I
it
feel
is.
ministry should
That's
be.
right.
Not competing,
But
but completing.
Yes.
With
No,
the l in
definitely.
it, in it, yeah, completing each other and not competing with each other.
No, it
And I
is.
think that is important. I think things will happen so faster in the
Yes.
realm of the spirit.
Yes,
I'm talking
yes,
about
yes,
in ministry.
yes.
Yeah,
you
because
know,
it's like an unhindered space.
Yeah,
yes,
it's like-
absolutely.
And
so
it just allows us to flow freely and
Yes,
effectively.
yes.
And I was thinking this morning, I was thinking first, before I even could, flourish in a career or move into a effective career, it starts with ministry first.
That's
Starts with
true, Sons.
how to work with people,
Yes,
how
yes,
to
yes,
love
yes,
people,
yes.
and I don't know about other people's careers or goals, whatever, but I currently feel mine is like, entangle in each other. Whether I'm at the office,
intertwined,
whether I'm at church, whether I'm in a social environment, I feel like I still give the same skills and abilities. Students will walk
true.
into my office, I'll still give the same guidance as I will give to somebody that comes for coaching. So I love the space.
No, that's so
how God
good.
have
Do you know
really-
what you're describing? You're
Yes.
describing yourself as a perfectly integrated person. No, but
I don't want to say perfectly, but it's
No,
true
but what I'm
it
saying
is,
is,
yeah.
it's you
Really
in sync.
integrated, yeah.
But many people, and especially when it comes to work and ministry, they are a work person and they are a ministry person.
That's true.
And that is not
That's
an
true.
integrated
That's
person.
true.
So you find that they almost live like dual lives
Yes.
because they are not integrated.
That's right.
In other words, who I am at church is not the same person
Who
that
I
I am
am, yes.
in work.
Yeah, oh.
And many times it actually goes a bit deeper in the sense that you don't even carry forth the same values
That's
that you
right.
do in work. You can even be a compromiser at work, but at a church,
Ministry.
you can be quite
Yeah,
holy.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
So you do
That's
get
right.
Yeah,
you
that's
do
true.
get those type of
It's so
scenarios.
important to have that balance.
We have
and
to have
the
balances.
same values, to carry the same values
But
over.
that's the only way to be if you think about it, because
Exactly, and
you
that
don't
is
have
when
to
you-
switch.
That is when
You
the
just
Bible really
be.
said we're living life to the fullness. It's because sometimes when we live life in different factors of our life differently, is sometimes when you don't feel the fulfillment.
Yeah.
And I really thank God every day just to help me to keep on this momentum so that I can continue to living life in fulfillment and overflowing, because I want to use the tools that was taught and I'm still taught, we've been taught in ministry, to apply in my workplace, to apply in my coaching life, to apply, in my social life, so that it can be
Yeah, you don't have to worry about changing who you
yeah,
are.
I don't want to change every time and say, ooh,
Now
must
put
alter
on
this now
another
first.
mask and then take off that mask and put
You
on
know,
a
somebody must
lot
say
of work.
A lot of changing
Yes,
all the time.
Yes, and somebody must take my temperature before I came into a room today. Ooh, I wonder what mood she is in though. I can't love like that. It's too much effort.
Yeah, but
a
you know,
lot.
you've achieved something that some people aspire to but struggle in, and this is like a perspective of compassion.
Yes.
Some people struggle with it because you were once. Say, for example, if you are a person that works in a secular job and then came to know of the Lord later, it's difficult to integrate your life because you've done this for maybe a couple of years without Christ in it in
That's
any way,
right.
and now you found faith, and now you have to speak differently or interact differently. So sometimes people figure, it's just easier for me to remain or just keep it separate.
That's right.
Yes, but over time, as God matures
That's
us
right.
and as you are exposed to possibly different aspects of your faith, you can become a more integrated person.
right.
And it's not an easy act, I must say. The show was originally purposed to talk to first ladies or female pastors that are still
Yeah.
career driven.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because you can be put in a very unfair situation where,
That's
like,
true, yeah.
you can't expect me to give up certain things
That's
that
right.
I have a dependency on
Yes.
for the sake of a
Yes.
calling
That's
that
right.
I
Yeah.
want to be in, but I can't be
Yeah.
completely
Yes.
immersed
And
in.
how do I balance it?
How do
Yes,
I
and how do
balance
I
it?
balance it? Because
Yes.
we do know that there is a greater risk in being fully submerged
Yeah.
in a secular way. And there is also a corresponding risk if you
Yes.
become just a figurehead in your church, because you're not really fully invested in there. Maybe the ministry doesn't need you to do that much work. And so you become lesser of a person than what you can be.
Yeah, and
so
you
it's
can
a difficult
and
game
you can also
to
lose
play.
yourself in the interim, right?
You
because
do.
if you're in the career and your husband is in the ministry and you don't find one another,
Yes.
on the same
Yes,
level as
yes.
ministry, it can become a problem. To be quite honest,
Absolutely.
you can actually lose yourself in the interim because you don't stay on the same spiritual level as
Yeah.
your
Yes,
husband or your
absolutely.
counterparts who are full time in ministry. You know what I'm saying? And many times it feels like you want to come with your career ahead on, and in ministry there's faith.
Yes.
Yes.
That operates.
Yes.
You're not in your workplace
Yes,
where you
that's
are
right.
the manager or the head who gets a budget to do certain things. And now that you are working in the church environment, in the ministry, you want to actually call the shots and you expect the monies to be there, but you don't understand that, listen, we don't have a complete full budget. We use faith.
Yeah, and it's
You know what
and
I'm
it's,
saying?
And it's a real thing. It's a legitimate.
No, it's a
issue.
real thing.
It's
It's
not
a real
it's,
thing.
And people can be placed in very unfair type of situations,
Scenarios, yeah.
and so it takes a lot of effort. And it would be interesting to hear how different people cope with that type of balance. I know for a long time we try to integrate much of our business life with our church life. In other words, you could possibly cross-pollinate with employees because the church would get the support.
right.
So you have all the best intentions, but it doesn't work
No, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work,
as you imagine it would
That's
work.
right.
It
Absolutely.
just doesn't work. It's like it's like different industries,
That's
different.
right.
It's
Yeah,
just
yes, yes.
it is very difficult, and so you learn and you go on with it. But there are people that are in these types of different focus areas for a long period in ministry, and some of them get it right marvelously. They achieve a balance in life that says, this is work time, I know my priorities, I subscribe to kingdom culture, but this is what I have to do for the time period. And I mean, those are some voices that would be very interesting to hear how they personally manage.
I like what someone said last night. She said she was called to a meeting on a Sunday at 11 o'clock or something like that. And when they called her, she said, no, sorry, I go to church on a Sunday. I think it's at 10 o'clock or so. But she said, no, I'm sorry, I go to church on a Sunday. I won't be able to make that meeting. I will meet if you have another meeting on that, or I will hear what the meeting was all about.
Yes.
But for this time on a Sunday, you don't schedule me for anything.
I'm not available.
And I'm not available at this
right.
time. I can go in to work, she says, at 12 and then leave at 5 on a Sunday if I have to do anything. But church time is church time, and that to me is balance. That to me is talking about the discipline of the person, who actually see God as a priority.
That's right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not only my career, because at first you are where you are because of Him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Because
yes.
of God.
Yeah, He's still the provider, even though you work.
He's still the provider.
Yeah.
He is the one who calls the
right.
shots. You think it's the boss, but it's not.
Not the boss.
And many times we in a career that employers don't actually know that this employee. I'm under this grace of the umbrella of this, the grace that is on this employee who is working for me. And I think if we understand that, we will actually be able to then say, to the boss, like, sorry, man, my time on a Sunday is from 9 to 11. That is church time.
Yeah.
After that, I am available.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of us don't bring that. I
right,
understand the pressure in the workplace. I do, and especially if it is single ladies
Yeah,
or men,
single-headed households, yeah.
So
right.
it's very difficult, and the pressure is on.
Yeah, and the thing is that the voice of the enemy can sometimes paint you into a corner where you can be in a desperate situation. And I think many
That's
times
true.
that's what happens. You think you don't have options because this is really your...
That's my only option.
Yeah, this is my only option, so I
Yeah.
have to abide by what they say.
Yeah.
I can't be picky and choosy. So the times that I want to go to home style, I can't. The times that I want to do that, I can't. But then you do also get a category of people, and
That's right.
these are particularly interesting and inspiring to me. I met a lady pastor who she continues to work in a corporate industry, but she has managed to carve out like a prayer meeting hour every day. People in corporates get together for an hour. I mean,
Yes.
that's so crazy.
Wonderful.
That's right.
I mean, we don't even do that in the
That's
office,
wonderful.
in a church office.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
and they make that time and they focus. And for those, I appreciate that because you are not getting spiritually fed by working such long hours away from it and only going to church on 2 hours on a Sunday. So, where you can give expression to your faith, even in the workplace.
Yes. That's
I think
I used to do that.
it's a bold move and it's a step
That's right.
that helps people.
Yes.
It's like you think that you only an ambassador for the company while you're working there. You remain an ambassador for
Absolutely.
Christ. And okay, you don't want to be the person that is now the least competent, and then you just want to talk about Jesus
That's
the whole day.
true.
Be good at your job if you
Yes,
want to spread the
please.
gospel.
Yeah, carry Jesus well.
Yes, carry Jesus well. But I do. I really take my hat off. I mean, I worked in corporate and I didn't take part or try and even evangelize people. Honestly,
No,
I didn't.
I always did that. To be quite honest, that is why there's a lot of my friends.
I didn't even find
who's
a
in the
Christian
kingdom.
community.
I actually in even in Porch,
Yeah.
I had a prayer meeting
At the office.
at the office.
Yeah.
So before we come and start working,
Yeah.
we had a time where we go upstairs and we had a prayer meeting.
Yeah.
Where we just have prayer.
Yeah. But and
And
you make
share.
it sound effortless, but it's not that easy.
No, it's not that easy.
It's
It
not
really
that
isn't
easy.
that
I remember-
easy.
I
I
remember-
wouldn't even know how to start
Yeah.
having that conversation with somebody,
But
you know,
it also
because
depends.
it's rough.
Like we had this one pastor at work, but he retired now.
Yeah.
So he was starting it, and he was like we had like I think it was every Tuesday at 1:00.
Yeah.
Then we had like a little sermon service, and then we have the praise maybe on Thursday. So sometimes you can make it, sometimes not. But it was so nice to know that at least you can go to a service.
And it
on
does,
campus,
it does
you
something
know?
in the atmosphere.
Yeah, it does. Because
Definitely
I remember
does.
what happened also just after COVID. Before COVID, he went on retirement. And then when we came back after COVID, some of the people have passed away in the between. So we didn't know where, to find. But it's really important. I always say to people, like my office is always like the Bymekaar Kom office. Everybody's coming in there and talking about things. So I sometimes use that opportunity, to spread the gospel, to speak about, and most of my colleagues, normally we will interact about the word, I think the other day we spoke to one of the ladies, she was a bit confused about scriptures, and we would just, start leaving our laptops, and we were like ending up, doing this ministry thing. So it is amazing how you can really, incorporate it, career
Yeah, that's
with
very
work,
nice,
with
because
ministry,
they
with
are
everything.
like-minded
and not
people.
make it a religious thing. And
Yes.
think, you know what? Don't think everybody around the table is going to the same church that you are
Yeah,
going to.
yeah.
They're
Yeah.
all going to church on
Yeah.
a Sunday.
Yeah.
They're all serving God in this way.
Yes.
So that is what also helps me
Yes.
sometimes in this kind of conversations.
Because
to
you
think
can learn
globally.
from someone else
Yes,
too, and
yes.
don't think that you're so high and mighty
That's
that you
right.
can't learn. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Irrespective of who you are, you
Exactly.
can learn from someone else. Someone in a mainstream church. You can learn from these people.
Absolutely.
To be quite
and
honest.
you mustn't take for granted that people have different callings and skills. If you think about
Yes.
some of the patriarchs or some of the leaders in the Bible, their skills weren't necessarily ministerial.
Yes.
Like Daniel, for
Yeah.
example, as an administrator, or even Joseph as an
yeah.
administrator. I mean, he was a highly skilled governor.
Yeah.
I mean, he managed some serious
Yeah.
constituents. He had the ear of all the people in parliament. He was affiliated with all the different parts
That's
of
right.
industry. He managed to
And in a
gather
foreign- in a foreign
yes,
country
and those
that
are not
wasn't his own.
ministerial qualities.
Yes.
Those are not ministerial
Yes.
qualities. But you see how Christians kind of count themselves out of it because they don't want to be fully integrated.
Absolutely.
Because they won't know how to voice their faith within the context of their workplace.
Right.
Exactly.
Because he had to be competent. First, he was given the opportunity with the vision and the ability to, not the vision, the ability to interpret the dreams.
That's right.
That was his in, that was his
Right,
divine
right,
hand.
right.
But he still needed to have the competency
Yes.
to work as the governor.
governor
That's
of
right.
the-
Yes.
yeah.
And he still had to have the authority to,
That's right.
continue to represent as a Christian.
right.
And so it's a balance that we sometimes miss, and we sell ourselves short. Like, I can't talk about faith because I'm in work, and I can't excel at work because I'm so stuck in faith.
yeah.
So it's a tough one.
That's a very tough one, and it brings me back again. Earlier, Joan was mentioning something, and I feel like if the audience is out there and there's some woman out there, and you are in ministry now currently, but after ministry, then you find yourself, what is there that I need to do? And that is where the frustration will come in, because sometimes you find the one party will upskill himself and the one party stay behind. And there's where the imbalance can also come
In a marriage union.
In a marriage, in conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I was in that situation.
It can come in conversations.
yeah,
It can
yeah.
come in many facets, you know. So what me and my husband normally do is we will talk about my things that I'm doing in career, and we can talk about ministry together. So we've learned those things before
Yes.
that people went through. So at least we now talk about these things and try to see how we can avoid these things to happen to us, so that we can rather be at one place and, always tell him about where I'm at, and he will always, at home, I always say to people, when people are at the gate, I know it's not for me.
Yeah,
because
it's for your
people will make
husband.
appointment to
Right.
come to me. I know it's for my husband. So I have to learn to love with that, Joni,
Yes.
because he's a community-based person.
Yes.
He's always helping the community. He's always out there for the community. So I also have then to adjust to that.
That's
also.
right, yeah.
I can't just think, oh no, you people coming to the house all the time. So I always have to, but we need to have a conversation then and say, what's the time limit, bruh?
Yeah.
What time
Yeah,
can
true.
they come?
Very true.
Yeah.
Then can we talk about
Very
that?
true,
Am I
yes.
cooking for a crowd every
I mean,
night?
I don't mind them coming, but can we talk about that? So then we can get an understanding and talk about it. So
Yeah, I think that's very important that you said there, because that can also bring an imbalance in your home environment,
Absolutely.
due to the fact that, especially if you're now out of ministry, 60 plus, and you tend not to actually be in a certain a thingicky in ministry, department in ministry.
That's right.
I'm talking from experience, where you actually find yourself, who am I now?
Yeah.
Hence I said you lose yourself in the interim due to the fact that you don't skill yourself
up, yes.
To be on par. Many of us don't even have the time. I'm talking to some women who don't listen to the news, who don't know what is going on in the country.
Yeah.
So when we get together with friends and so on, then you can't talk
Yeah.
in the conversation. You can't take part in
Yeah.
the conversation because you don't
You
now
can just
know
talk
what
about
is happening.
Pharisees.
You can only talk church. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it is so important
That's right, Johnny.
to keep that balance.
Yeah.
Because
And very
we are still here on earth.
Yes, and
Exactly.
very often we like to get at the person that works, but you've just described a very accurately what scenario comes out with the female pastor that doesn't know how to do anything else but
church.
Yes,
Church,
but
yeah.
church, and it does, and it makes it you lose relevance.
Yes.
No, you definitely do.
And you also you're not aware of many things, so you're uninformed, and then you can start losing touch even with people
That's
because
right.
of that. So I think there's a risk both ways.
Because you must understand, you have the children, right? You have your things that you are doing on a daily basis. So you have to go fetch the children, drop the children from school, take them to school. You have to check the uniform is washed. You have to do
yeah,
the
and because you're the
chores
one
at
with the
home.
time, then everything gets loaded onto you.
Onto you. So think about it, right? You have all these caps that you are wearing on a
right.
daily basis. You don't have the time to skill yourself and to sit with the books, right? Because all these things are happening. You at the office, ministerial office. And at church, right? So we actually, you have all that. So now all of the sudden,
It's no more there.
it's no more there. So what do you fall back onto? That's why I say to you, it's important I learned it. That's why I want to bring it over to the others,
To the next
to
gen,
the
yeah.
next generation.
Yes.
Skill yourself
Self.
in something that you can fall onto, because you are not going to be the senior pastor of the church. You somewhere you're going to
Yes.
have to give the baton
Yes,
over, man.
absolutely.
Don't stick with it until you're 80 and 70 and so on. There's a younger generation that also wants
Can
to
run fast, yeah.
They can run further. They can run faster. They have the energy now. So it's better to give it over to them who have the energy,
That's right.
instead of keeping it because you have nothing to fall back onto. That is very important. And I think that is a mouthful, and that is the things that I see is happening in ministry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's so important to actually get something to do for yourself
Yeah.
that you like,
Yeah.
you know, to fall back onto.
No, that's good.
So we can go to comments. There's so many comments. I was going to do it now. Yeah.
1 minute.
Leah Matlawe. She say, hello, gorgeous ladies. And then Eileen Paleman, thank you. She says, good morning, beautiful ladies. Happy Women's Month. Alison say, good morning, ladies. Then Eileen say, I like that fair amount of business. Thank you, Lee. You all look so beautiful today. And then, yes, plan your day. Eileen says, yes, investing in bet is better than a lost. Yeah, that's very true. You have to invest your time instead of losing it. Right, and then Alison say, that's Joan Constant. Okay. Alison says, this is Alison Moulton, learning to say no and be okay with it is so important. Then Jimmy, don't. At Joan, are you related to Xavier? Yes, I am. He's my son. Then Lady J. Jacob says, morning, gorgeous queens. Putting you first and not feeling guilty is a good place to be. But if you feel guilty, I feel then it's in vain. Then Sarita Miles says, Lady S, how do you reflect your Christian beliefs in your day-to-day work responsibilities since you work in a somewhat secular environment?
Oh, I think it's answered.
That
Yeah,
is
I think
answered,
I
right?
answered.
Yeah, we did. Sybil Skull says, good morning, Joan and ladies. Wow, girlfriend all the way from Cape Town. Thank you for tuning in this morning. And then Lady J says again, oh, wow, this is so relevant. Loving it. Lady S, prati dung. Being intentional with our time, because we can find ourselves all over, but account for nothing. That is a problem. Bronwyn Edward says, you will never find time for anything. If you want time, you must make time. I like that.
Yes,
I like
that's
that.
true.
You have to make time. As I always used to say to Sonia, hey man, ek het nie tyd om nou nog te gaan gym nie, maar is eintlik luiheid.
Is luiheid.
Excuse. It's pure excuses.
Yes.
So stop making excuses. Balance your life and get things going for yourself, what you love to do. So last
That's right.
comments and we're going to say bye-bye.
Thank you so much. This was a very vibrant conversation, and I think it's very necessary, and hopefully it added value to someone's life. I would like to conclude with a quote by Aubrey Hepburn. She says, as you grow older, you will discover that you have two hands, one for helping yourself and the other for helping others. So I hope that you remain balanced in
That's
everything
right.
that
Yes,
you
yes, yes.
Yes, my closing comments today. It was awesome to be on the show once again. Very insightful. I've learned a lot again today. But my closing comments is have goals and be ambitious and stay curious. Like Joan said, what's going on around you, what's going on around in life, and venture into new things, learn new skills, learn new things, and it's so important not to remain at where you're at, but to move forward and learn things that you can, do in your life going forward, and stay curious. That's my final, what you call, say, your comment to my audience out there. Stay curious.
Yes, yes, yes. Be fruitful where you are planted, girls. Grow where you are planted. Don't just stagnate. It's
That's
time
right.
to move. So let's move it, move it, move it. Yeah, amen. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love you. God loves you best. Go in the peace of the Lord. Mwah.
In the shadows, as I look upon my life, in the shadows, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dreams. As I look upon my life, in the shadows, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my